Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Coral and I'm nearly 6 months sober now. I don't know, I have to tell you that. Well, it's a bit of information about me, isn't it? You might want to know. And some people might think, 6 months, that's not very long. So what makes you qualified to sit and talk about such matters when you're only 6 months sober? But I have done quite a few periods of sobriety over the past 20 odd years, the longest being 5.5 years. And when I focus on something, I hyper-focus. So I read lots of books, I watch lots of videos, I do a lot of thinking. And I've gained quite a lot of insights. And that's the thing, when you put down alcohol, you do start gaining insights about your drinking, about yourself, things that you probably don't think about when you are drinking. I mean, I'm generalising. I'm not saying nobody can have an insight if you're drinking, but I think things become more apparent when you put down the drink. But I'm not here to talk about that on this occasion. I'm talking about feelings. Feelings. Yes, feelings. And how we drink over feelings. Drink to drown out the feelings, the emotions. I certainly have. In fact, I would assert that that's the number one reason for drinking to excess. Well, even drinking moderately. It's to change how we feel. Even if it's just, I'm going to a party, I'll have 2 or 3 drinks, it'll just make it more enjoyable. As I said in my last video about boredom, if you're needing to drink to make life more enjoyable, something's not quite right with your life or your activities, and, find something that is enjoyable without alcohol, because there's lots of things out there. It's a big wide world. And we can find things to do that are enjoyable, that don't involve alcohol. Because there's lots of people who don't drink. Do they all sit at home, drumming the fingers? I'm so bored. I'm so bored. Of course they don't. They get out there and they do things. So for me, a trigger was anger or rage in some cases. Because I was brought up to feel bad about my emotions. As I said previously, I will say that a lot. As I said previously, just so that you know, I know I'm repeating myself. Get on me! I have a diagnosis of ADHD. I'm not sure how I feel about that. It's a conventional medicine diagnosis. I'm cynical because when you get a diagnosis, you get treatment and medication, and certainly pharmaceutical companies make a lot of money. So it's within their interests to keep people sick. So that's part of, I'm going off point. I will do this. You have to get used to it. You don't have to.
Bye-bye.
But yeah, that's part of conventional medicine that I'm like, cynical about. But yes, my diagnosis of ADHD, one of the traits is, emotional dysregulation, high emotion. I'm very sensitive, and I think when you're very sensitive and you've got intense, extreme emotions, as I feel that I have had throughout my life, then certainly as a child you can get negative feedback because you're difficult. My mum used to say as well that I was defiant. I was the black sheep of the family. I would argue black is white. So my granddaughter is quite like me, and I can see it gets my back up. So I can understand how my parents felt with me. Well, my mum especially, because she was the one who was the main carer. But so that sort of negative feedback. And then as I was older, I just remember my dad saying, I was obviously being emotional. I can't remember any specific incidents, which is weird. But I do remember him telling me that I was a lunatic, that I needed locking up, that I needed to see a psychiatrist. So when you're brought up with that sort of negative feedback, it becomes difficult to accept yourself and accept your emotions. So I've used alcohol to numb those feelings, I suppose. When I've got very angry, very, stressed out, angry, I've wanted to drink. Straight away I want to drink, because not only am I feeling that intense emotion, which is not pleasant, I've also got the mind chatter that's like, what's wrong with you? Calm down, you lunatic. Those are obviously my dad's words. So it's like a double whammy. So there's those feelings that I don't like having to deal with. But when you don't drink, you've got to get used to those feelings, but also try and be accepting. Try and understand where they're coming from. And that's another thing that alcohol doesn't allow you to do, because it's dumbing you down, it's numbing you, and you don't have the clarity. So why am I feeling so wound up? I realise now, because I'm somebody, I push myself through physical pain, through tiredness. I just push myself because it's like I have to do that. I have to finish it. I've got to do it because I can't fail, sort of thing. I'm aware of these patterns. I'm realising that you need to rest. You've done too much, Coral. You need to rest now. You need to sit down and rest. I don't find it easy to sit down and rest, but I'm aware of it, and that's because I'm not drinking, because it's allowing me to be aware of it. Alcohol would just cloud it. It's like last night, I felt, it's really warm in here. I felt a little bit stressed. My body was hurting, and I thought, right, I could really do with a drink now. I just feel like I would just relax and it'd give me a bit of respite. But we've got to keep in mind, I have to keep in mind that it's a poison, and for whatever, strip off, whatever perceived benefits I think I'm getting, it's actually going to take something away, because it's not just going to be a one-off event. If it was a one-off event, I wouldn't be sat here now talking about all these things, because I could just do it as a one-off event or on occasion. And drinking on occasion doesn't necessarily create problems. It depends, of course. If you drink 2 bottles of vodka, it could create big problems. But, you know, if it's a couple of drinks. But that obviously is not my situation. I'm not a couple of drinks kind of gal. And the thing is, we drink over emotions. Emotions are there for a reason. It's like physical sensations in our body are there for a reason. And I think, you know, we need to let them go. We need to feel them. We need to move through them. We need to release them. That's what we need to do with feelings. Not bottle them up, not drink on top of them so they get pushed away somewhere, because it's not like they disappear. Alcohol doesn't make them go poof and disappear. No, they sit somewhere in your mind, in your body, festering away. And then the more you do it, the more they sit there festering. And some believe that, say, long-held resentment and anger that's not expressed in a healthy way can sit there festering and turn into cancer. I don't know if that's true or not. It sort of makes sense to me, does that? But I say that to demonstrate how destructive it can be to hold on to emotions. Now, it seems that we're, as children, unless you're very lucky and you've got very self-aware, emotionally well-balanced parent, how many of us have had that? Probably not that many. But unless you have that, you find yourself being emotional and being shamed for it, or your feelings are discounted, or nobody, you know, you're just not listened to. Because obviously, when you're an adult, a child's crying their eyes out because, I don't know, they've just ripped their picture accidentally, and they're like sobbing, like it's the worst thing that's ever happened, you know, in the history of mankind. And you as an adult are thinking, get a grip, it's just a bit of paper. So it's easy to discount them, easy to discount their feelings in that situation. But, you know, you might get more negative feedback like I did. So then you learn to keep your feelings to yourself. But, you know, or do what I've done. It's like, okay, this is how I feel. Is this justified? So it's got to go through a censor. Yeah, that's okay, or no, it ain't. Mostly no, it ain't. You know, stop it now. Stop feeling like that. It's not healthy. It's like, we need to pee and we need to poo. Huh? If you were to hold those things in, you'd become ill pretty quickly. Those things are supposed to be let go of. And emotions are supposed to be let go of. I've seen emotions written as energy, E, in motion, energy in motion. So they need to move, not become stuck and stagnant. And the thing is, as well, when you feel difficult emotions, allow yourself to feel them, you come through it a stronger person, a more mature person. It's like, what's the expression I'm thinking of? I don't think it's trial by fire, but it's, if you, right, so you have an experience, it's really difficult. Somebody dies. I mean, I think loss is one of the hardest emotions to deal with. I mean, it gets you. It really gets you. It's so painful. And instinctively, we don't want to feel it. It's too hard. I don't want to. But if you have this experience and then you immerse yourself in those feelings, they don't stay like that forever. They do change. Feelings change. When you allow yourself to feel them, you come out the other side. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And it's important to remember that. But because we're not brought up to feel our feelings, we're not encouraged to feel our feelings are not validated and taken seriously a lot of the time, it becomes difficult to do that for ourselves as we get older. But we can learn to, and I'm learning to. Instead of feeling like I am a bad person, I'm defective, thoughts I've had for much of my life, I'm seeing myself in a different way now. It's a process, it takes time. It's like the first half of your life, you get fucked up. You are fucked up. And then you spend the rest of your life trying to sort yourself out. Well, if you're not drinking, I think you've a chance. I think any active addiction is going to stop that emotional growth. It is written somewhere, I have seen it written somewhere, that when you pick up something and start using addictively, you stop growing emotionally. So people with addictions are going to be more immature than those without, because instead of feeling those feelings, which help us grow emotionally and mature, we pick up a drink or a joint or whatever. We do that instead. So that opportunity to grow through those difficult emotions is just stopped. And perhaps that's the worst thing about it. I believe that we all have a soul, and our souls are here to grow, to evolve, to grow. We're here for learning. And when you've got an addiction, I don't think you grow. The growth is small compared to somebody who's not doing something addictively and is feeling their feelings. So yeah, that's the reason to not drink, so that you feel things. Of course, you don't need to drink, smoke cannabis, inject heroin, snort cocaine, whatever. You don't have to do any of that. Or, there's lots of things that are done sort of addictively. Food, sex, whatever. Exercise even. You don't have to do any of that to deny your feelings. We have that mechanism, a defense mechanism, denial. It's a protective thing. I see it as protective. So if something's very difficult, we can go into denial for a bit. But I don't think it's a good idea to keep going into denial. It's there for emergencies, sort of thing. You see, I quite like analogies. An analogy for me is like, okay, so you've got a wardrobe, you keep putting stuff in it. Oh, do I need to deal with that? Do I throw it away? Do I keep it? What do I do with it? Oh, I'll just put it in the wardrobe. So this is your emotions you're not dealing with. Something else, I'll just chuck it in the wardrobe. I'll just chuck it in the wardrobe. And eventually that wardrobe, you can't shut the doors. And it starts to spill out, all that stuff starts to spill out. And I think that's what happens with emotions. And perhaps a lot of mental health issues are to do with not dealing with our emotions in a healthy, constructive way. We need to know that it's okay to feel our emotions, even when it's hard. And we're not going to die from feeling our emotions. Nobody ever died from that. I don't think, imagine they say people die of a broken heart, but I just think you feel your emotions. It's hard, but you come through it. You get to the other side. And you're kind to yourself while that's going on. You don't berate yourself. You don't call yourself weak. You're a human being with emotions, with feelings, and you're allowed to feel them. Honour yourself by feeling those feelings. Don't drink instead, or smoke, or do whatever. Like my cat died years ago. He was I adored him, really. He was a big black cat. He was gentle as anything. He was big, but he was gentle. He was lovely, and he got ill. I'm not going to cry. Not on camera. I can cry, but not here. And he died. He got ill and he died. And I had to stop drinking. It was one of my periods of sobriety. But I thought, I'm not going to drink, because feeling the grief it's like honouring his memory. Why shouldn't I feel sad and upset that I've lost my lovely black furry boy? Why shouldn't I feel those feelings? To try and drown those feelings out, it's like, oh yeah, you're not worth getting upset about. I know it's not, you don't think that, of course. You're drowning it out with alcohol or whatever because it's painful. But I like to see it like that. At that point, it's like I'm honouring him. I'm feeling the feelings because I loved him, and, I'm going to feel the feelings. What feelings Have you repressed? Do you repress? Let me know in the comments. And if there's anybody who wants to be interviewed, please get in touch. People keep saying that they will get in touch and they do want to be interviewed, but nobody's come forward as yet. I'm not sure this channel will survive if I don't get other people on talking, because, I mean, I can talk, but there'll come a point where I have nothing else to say about this subject, possibly. So I want other people on here to talk about their experience. It's important. It helps others, potentially. So yes, get in touch if you're up for that. My email will be below the video. And if you're interested in van life, I have another channel, another camper van channel. I'll put a link for that below as well. So that's my day-to-day life, living in my camper van, if you want to check that one out. But anyway, thank you to everybody who's subscribed. I hope you find the content useful. Please feel free to comment, as I say. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.